John 13. John 13. Let's look at verse 1. And he says, now before the feast of the Passover, keep that in mind. When Yahshua knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them unto the end. And supper being ended, the devil now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him. Yahshua, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hand, and he was come from God and went to God, he rose from supper and laid his garments and took a towel and girded himself. We'll deal with that as we get closer to Passover, because that's talking about washing the disciples' feet. And then one time, we'll get a chance to do that. Look at verse 9. Matter of fact, look at verse 7. This is how you know, with verse 6. This is how you know Peter was black. This sounds like something this nigga right here say. He said, then come he to Simon Peter, and Peter saith unto him, Lord, dost thou wash my feet? Yahshua answered and said unto him, what I do thou know not now, but thou shalt know hereafter. Peter saith unto him, thou shalt never wash my feet. Yahshua answered him, if I wash thee not, thou hast no part with me. Simon Peter saith unto him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. That's how you know it's black. That sounds like something he said once. Then said, oh, you gonna wash my feet? Get my hands and my head too. Look what else he say. Yahshua saith unto him, he that is washed need not save to wash his feet, but is clean every whit, and ye are clean, but not all. Now he just told him, he said, he that's been washed by the water, and sanctified by the washing of the water by the word, he said he don't need to be washed. He already clean. He said, but one of y'all ain't clean though. He said, for he knew who should betray him, therefore said he, ye are not all clean. Now how could Yahshua know who was going to betray him if he didn't already know what the scripture had them say? And he picked this man himself. He already know who was going to betray him. He said, soon after he had washed their feet and taken his garments, he had sat down. We don't need to read that. That's dealing with another matter. Verse 21. Hand sanitizer don't do nothing. So you say. So you say. Hey, I don't never get sick. I don't have a problem.
What you say about getting sick? You ain't say nothing about getting
sick.
That's
what germs do. They get you sick.
Yep.
What else is germs going to do? That's why they call it germ warfare.
He wasn't talking about getting sick. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You come out of nowhere with random.
I mean, that's the only thing germs do.
Get sick. You ain't say nothing about getting sick.
That's what germs do.
About washing your hands.
That's what germs do. That's what germs do. I care. That don't bother me now.
Yeah, I bet it don't.
So
because you a nasty nigga.
So live.
He's not touching baby.
You say, and when Yahshua had thus said, he was troubled in his spirit, and testified and said, truly, truly, I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. Then the disciples looked on one another, doubting of whom he spake. Now there was leaning on Yahshua's bosom one of his disciples, whom Yahshua loved. These niggas, I just seen a nigga a couple weeks ago try to say that this was Mary Magdalene. Does this say that was a woman leaning on him or a man? Where can we read Mary Magdalene or any woman being called a disciple? During the master's time, we can read a woman being called a disciple. Her name was Dorcas. I showed some of y'all that once before. But any of y'all read any woman in these four gospels being called a disciple? Now it just said right here that he seen lying on his breast a man, and a nigga tried to say that was the Lord's wife. Say he been studying and he found in the book the Lord had a wife. You know what I asked him? I said, well, where is it that in the scriptures that he would marry a woman? Because anything the Lord did, it got to be in the scriptures, ain't it? I said, where is that he married a woman in the scriptures at? No response. You shut your mouth up and you get ready to burn in hell, you stupid, retarded, blaspheming nigga. Straight up and down. Straight up and down. Because I get offended by stuff like that, man. It ain't no need to do that. Because it said he. He said he. So now you going to tell me this man don't know that was a man laying on him? And guess who? The man who writing it was the man who was laying on him. Because that was John. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Let me see what it is. We're in verse 24. He says, Simon Peter therefore beckoned to him that he should ask who it should be of whom he spake. And he then lying on Yahshua's breast saith unto him, Lord, who is it? Yahshua answered, he it is to whom I shall give a sop when I have dipped it, and when he had dipped the sop, he gave it to Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon. And after the sop, Satan entered into him, and then said Yahshua unto him, that thou do quickly. No man at the table knew for what intent he spake this unto him. He said, for some of them thought because Judah had the bag, that Yahshua said unto him, buy those things that we have need against the feast, or that he should give something to the poor. He then having received the sop went immediately out, and it was night. So now he done sat there and let Judas be known. Now you got to go do something what you got to do. But let's look at Psalm 55 and let's see what it looks like. None for you. No goldfish for you.
Right.
Psalm 55, verse 3. Make it verse 3. Make it verse 1. Psalm 55 and 1. He said, give ear to my prayer, O God, and hide not thyself from my supplication. Attend unto me and hear me. I mourn in my complaint and make a noise. Because of the voice of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked, they cast iniquity upon me, and in wrath they hate me. He said, my heart is sore pain within me, and the terrors of death are fallen upon me. So let's see him hearing the voice of the enemy, and then that the terrors of death is fallen upon him. Let's go to Matthew 26.
No. It's enough. Look at that. Matthew what?
26. Look at verse 14. He said, then one of the 12 called Judas Iscariot went unto the chief priests and said unto them, what will you give me? And I will deliver him unto you. And they coveted unto him with him for 30 pieces of silver. And from that time he sought opportunity to betray him. Hold that and look at Zechariah. Well, you can see what Zechariah said is that. Some of these niggas go ham about this thing here, man, but I don't got no
What's
time.
up, your daughter?
What's up, John?
Yeah.
Oh, you're in here. Wow.
Zechariah, I think it's about
Daddy.
How do I talk to him?
11, if I'm not mistaken.
That's dumb.
It might be 11. Wow. Find where it's at. Pell, if you remember where it's at, go ahead and let it be known so we can get this done. Here it is, 11 and 12. Zechariah 11 and 12. And he said, and I said unto them, if you think good, give me my price, and if not, forbear. So they weighed for my price 30 pieces of silver. And Yah said unto me, cast it unto the potter a goodly price, that I was prized at of them. And I took the 30 pieces of silver and cast them to the potter in the house of Yah. So that's just what they tried to do. And we're going to read some of what they tried to do when we get to the point of that there. Because now you see the covenant for the 30 pieces of silver. Then he said they tried to put it in the house of God. Now he said he saw opportunity to betray him. Now he said he heard voices. That's what we came here for. The one that snatched him. Well, let's look at saying his heart was heavy unto death. Verse 38. Matthew 26 and 38. Let's look at that as Psalm 55. One more time. You're right.
Ain't no more in here. Your mama ate it.
Psalm 55, when he says his heart is pain within him, and the terrors of death are fallen upon him. Matthew 26 and 38. Then saith he unto them, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here, and watch with me. He said he went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. Sounds like to me. Let's see what he say again. And he come unto his disciples and find them asleep, and saith unto Peter, what, you could not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray, that you enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. And he went away again the second time and prayed, saying, O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me except I drink it, thy will be done. Does it sound like to y'all that he's got the fear of heart on him? And it said with fearfulness in verse 5 in Isaiah Psalm 55, it said fearfulness and trembling are come upon me, and horror have overwhelmed me. And I know full well, you know, if he was shaking and sweating like this blood, that his sweat looked like teardrops, you could wait till he was trembling one day. You can wait till he was terrified. He asking it for it to pass on him. That sound like that's just something written by a Psalm of David? Or does that sound like he's talking about the Lord? Now look what else he said. He said again he went away a third time and prayed, saying the same words. Now look at verse 47. He said, and while he yet spake, lo, Judas, one of the 12, came with a great multitude with swords and staves, and the chief priests and the elders of the people. Now he just said that because of the voice of an enemy and because of the oppression of the wicked, they cast iniquity upon him, and in wrath they hate him, and they coming for him. Listen what he say now. He say, now he that betrayed me gave them a sign. Whomsoever I shall kiss, the same as he hold him fast. And forthwith he came to Yahshua and said, Hail, master, and kissed him. And Yahshua said unto him, Friend, wherefore art thou come? Then came they, and they laid hands on Yahshua and took him. And you know what he first mentioned about betraying the man at, or casting iniquity on him? In John 11, they say, let us go and get him, lest all men believe on him, after he raised Lazarus from the dead. But let's go back to Psalm 55. And let's drop down to about verse 11. He said, wickedness is in the midst thereof, deceit and guile depart not from her streets. For it was not an enemy that reproached me, then I could have borne it. Neither was it he that hated me, that did magnify himself against me, then I would have hid myself from him. But it was thou, a man mine equal, and my guide, and my acquaintance. Because what did the Lord say? Didn't he say the servant is not above his master? But everyone that is a perfect shall be as his master. So now you can see this here. He said, this is my homeboy. This is a man who my equal. He don't want to reproach me. He said, we took sweet counsel together and walked into the house of God in company. Didn't they walk in the house of God together? Didn't Judas go everywhere the Lord went? So we can see who this is referring to. It's already stating that what Judas going to do. Now we ain't going to too many places. But it's already stating what Judas going to do. Look at verse 15. Look what he say. Let death seize upon them, and let them go down quick into hell, for wickedness is in their dwellings and among them. Keep that in mind. He just asked for this man to die, didn't he? Did he not just ask for death to come on this man? Let's look at Psalm 41. Verse 5. Look what they say about it. He say, my enemies speak evil of me. When shall he die and his name perish? And if he come to see me, he speak vanity. His heart gather iniquity to himself, and when he go abroad, he tell it. All that hate me whisper together against me, and against me do they devise my hurt. Let's look at John 11 now. I mentioned it earlier. Let's look at John 11. Look what the man say. This man say, my enemies speak evil of me and ask when he gonna die and his name gonna perish. So we got to get this man out of here. Then it say, and they whisper together against him that they might devise his hurt. John 11, 45. It say, then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Yahshua did believed on him. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Yahshua had done. Then gathered the chief priests and Pharisees a council and said, what do we? This man do many miracles. And if we thus let him alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away our place and nation. And one of them named Cappius, being the high priest that same year, saith unto him, you know nothing at all, nor consider that it's expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, prophesied that Yahshua should die for that nation. And not for that nation only, but he should also gather together in one the children of God that were scattered abroad. Then from that day forth, they took counsel together to put him to death. So right there, this sounds like they sitting there to putting a device together to kill him and whispering amongst each other, devising evil in their heart to take this man hurt, to cause this man hurt. They want to kill him. They want to know when can we get his name removed out of the earth. Let's see if there's one more spot where we can find a way to talk like this. I think we got one more place where they sat down and plotted. That's some sour stuff right there. This man ain't doing nothing but good. They sitting around devising how we could kill him. Because they ain't like what he was saying. We don't like this. And you know what they were concerned with? We going to lose our spot with the Romans. We going to, that's what, yeah, on top of that. On top of that. On top of that. He already know what they wanted to do. He already know what was in their heart. That these are wicked men. Let's go over here to, let's go to Luke 4. And about verse 21. Let's see another one that you're ready to kill him. the crack right there.
Crack the face. Good crack.
Yeah. And the scribes and Pharisees began to reason, saying, "Who is this which speak blasphemies? Who can forgive sins but God only?" When Yahshua perceived their thoughts, he answering said unto them, "What reason ye in your hearts? Whether it is easier to say, Thy sins be forgiven thee, or to rise up and walk? But you may know that the Son of Man hath power upon the earth to forgive sins." And he said unto the sick of the palsy, "I say unto thee, arise, and take up thy couch, and go in the house." And immediately, I missed my spot. I overlooked it. He said, immediately he rose up and took unto them wherein he lay, and they departed to his own house, glorifying God. Now see, this is the thing where they were set up. I misread that part of that. But this is one of the things where they were getting upset at why they wanted to kill him and wanted to rise against him. This man healing men on the Sabbath day, they want to speak against him. They want to kill this man for that. You know what I'm talking about? They wanted to kill this man for working righteousness. They wanted to kill this man for saying what God had to say. And what prophet should come to mind? I know Pell just posted it today. What prophet should come to mind they wanted to kill just from saying what God told him to say? Now, you know, little Muffin, what? No, not Saul. There it is. Yep. No, Dwight just said it. Let's see if any of y'all know. What prophet they wanted to kill for doing that? I can't remember that. For time's sake, we're going to look. Jeremiah. They put Jeremiah in the pit just like they put the Lord in the pit. All he did was came and said what the Lord had. The only thing different was Jeremiah ain't come and work no miracles. That's the only difference. Go back to Psalm 41. Look at verse 8. They said, evil disease say they cleave fast unto him. Now that he lie, he shall rise up no more. Now they talking about he ain't going to raise from the dead no more. Look at Matthew 27 and see what these people say. They say they hope an evil disease cleave to the man that he don't rise up no more. Matthew 27:62. Listen what he said. He said, now the next day that followed the day of the preparation, the chief priests and Pharisees came together on the pot. So if it's the next day after the day of preparation, what day is it after? What has just passed? He says the next day after the day of preparation. Sabbath just ended. You know what I'm talking about? And not the weekly Sabbath, but the Sabbath for Passover. Because remember, okay, you on the point. Remember, they were preparing for Passover. Now so this is the day before the man raised from the dead. Because, they couldn't come out on the Sabbath and do what they said they were finna do. Not the chief priests anyway. Because they say the chief priests and Pharisees came to Pilate. They couldn't do that on the Sabbath now. He say, saying, sir, we remember that deceiver said, while he was yet alive, after 3 days I will rise again. Command therefore that the sepulchre be made sure until the third day, lest his disciples come by night and steal him away, and say unto the people, he is risen from the dead. So the last error shall be worse than the first. Pilate said unto him, ye have a watch, go your way, and make it as sure as you can. So they went and made the sepulchre sure, sealing a stone and setting a watch. So that's going right back to right here. They don't want him to rise no more, then. They said, we're going to seal this stone up. We're going to make sure that don't nobody be able to say he rose and the air be worse than the first. The last air be worse than the first. You see how this book telling on these people? You didn't think the people knew what they were doing. What? Meaning he said he was the son of God and that he was the king of the Jews and that he was sent to be the redeemer of the people. They said that was a greater error. So now we don't want him to come up and these people come steal the dead. And then this last era of them still so-called him rising from the dead is worse than the first era of him saying he was the son of God, he was the Messiah. Let's go back to Psalm 41. Ready? That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Nigga come in here walking like George Jefferson. That nigga dead too. He said, yea, my own familiar friend, in whom I trusted, which did eat of my bread, have lifted up his heel against me. Didn't he sit down and eat bread with him? Then we read that in John 13. Didn't he eat bread with him? Did he lift up his heel against him? So that means it's speaking of it. So right now we done seen Judas exposed in Zechariah, Psalms 41 and Psalm 55. Ain't it? Huh? Oh, and we could go in many more places to do it, but for time's sake, we ain't going to do it. But I want y'all to go look at Acts 1, and then we're going to go to Psalm 109, but it's one place in Matthew. Let me see where that is in Matthew. Is it Matthew 10 or is it Matthew 8? It ain't Matthew 10. Because if you can remember where he say it'll be better for that man that he wasn't born, you let me know as we go pull this Acts 1. We're going to go to Acts 1 and 13. Give everybody a second because we need to find him. Acts 1 and 13. And it says, and when they were come in, they went up into the upper room, where abode both Peter and James and John and Andrew, Philip, Thomas, and Bartholomew, and Matthew, James the son of Alphaeus, Simon, Zelotes, and Judas the brother of James. And they all continued with one accord in prayer and supplication with the women, and Mary the mother of Yahshua, and with his brethren. And in those days Peter stood up. These niggas going hard, man. And in those days Peter stood up in the midst of the disciples and said, the number of names together were about 120. So now you know that there was more disciples than just the 12. You see what he says? 120 people with them, one. What? What? This here Acts? Appreciate it. No, I don't think so. We went through this last Saturday. What, showing you that was more people with him than the 12? No, that was in Matthew, John 6, when it showed that there was 70 people with him. Or when I showed you that he went out 70 by 70 and he sent them out 2 by 2. Yeah, that's what we look at. Look at verse 16. He said, men and brethren, the scripture must needs have been fulfilled, which the Holy Ghost by the mouth of David spake before concerning Judas, which was the guide of them that took Yahshua. For he was numbered with us and obtained part of this ministry. Now this man purchased the field with the reward of iniquity, falling headlong, he burst asunder in the midst, and all the bowels gushed out. You know what I'm talking about? So you see, because didn't he say, let death seize on the people that did that to him? But I want you to see what the scribes and Pharisees told him about that money he tried to bring. Go back to Matthew 27, verse 1. Because he said they tried to put it in the house of Yah. I'm glad that he just brought that back to my mind. Matthew 27 and 1. This is what he said. And when the morning was come, all the chief priests and the elders of the people took counsel against Yahshua to put him to death. You know who that symbolizes? All the people coming together to take counsel to put him to death. You know who that's talking about? You know who showed that beforehand? You remember? Who all the people got together? Look at Judges 14. That's just for a couple of y'all who ain't never heard it before. I know it's been a while, so I ain't mad at you on that little much. Judges 15, actually, about verse 9. All right, Judges 15 and 9. Then the Philistines went up and pitched in Judah and spread themselves in Lehi. And the men of Judah said, why are you come up against us? And they answered, to bind Samson, are we come up to do to him as he have done to us. 3,000 men of Judah went to the top of the rock of Etam and said to Samson, know thou not that the Philistines are rulers over us? And that's the same thing the scribes and Pharisees were saying in John 11. What is this that they have done unto us? And he said unto them, as they did unto me, so have I done unto them. And they said unto him, we are come to bind thee, that we might deliver thee into the hand of the Philistines. And Samson said unto them, swear unto me that you will not fall upon me yourselves. Did the Israelites fall on themselves and kill him, or did the Romans do it? The Romans did it. Did they bind Yahshua up too with cords? Same thing. That's what they were talking about in here with this 27. All the people came together, took counsel to put this man to death. That's what they were doing. Because did the people of Judah come down and counsel with the Philistines to kill Samson? And that's what these Israelites doing right now, coming together with Pilate to come together to kill Yahshua. Go back to Matthew 27. Hold on. We're going to hold Judges 15. I'll show you where they bound him so you think I ain't just talking. And when they had bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate, the governor. Now go back to Judges 15. See, the whole book testified to man. And if you're dealing with people that can't show you that, you need to be cognizant and say, hold up. How you know how you a preacher of the word and you can't show me my Savior? Because any man who God done sent should be able to do it at some fashion. Some might know more than others. That don't mean that they ain't no less God done some. But if they can't even do it in the... I ain't talking about going to spots everybody know neither. Look at here about verse 13. Or verse 12. What we saw that? Verse 12. Oh, verse 13. And they spake unto him, saying, No, but we will bind thee fast, and deliver thee into their hand. But surely we would not kill thee. And they bound him with 2 new cords, and brought him up from the rock. And when he came unto Lehi, the Philistines shouted against him, and the Spirit of Yah came upon him mightily, and the cords that were upon his arms became as flax that was burnt with fire, and his bands loosed from off his hands. So let's say those cords were broken, right? Now let's look and see if them cords were broke off the Lord. Acts 2. Acts 2 and 24. Go ahead and roll it. It's 5:48. No, thank you. Acts 2 and 24. Matter of fact, make it 23. You've got to do 22, actually. He said, Ye men of Israel, hear these words. Yahshua of Nazareth, a man approved of God among you by miracles and wonders and signs, which God did by him in the midst of you, as ye yourselves also know. He being delivered by the determinate counsel and foreknowledge of God, ye have taken, and by wicked hands have crucified and slain. Haven't we established that? Look what he said. Whom God hath raised up, having loosed the pains of death, because it was not possible that he should be holding of it. And how was Samson able to break those bands that they put on him by what? What did it say? The Spirit did it. And how was Yahshua able to break the bands of death off of him? By the Spirit. See, thank the Lord. God, a wonderful God, man. And he manifests himself so clearly and so plainly to those who believe and trust in him and have a heart and mind to obey him. Go back to Matthew 27. Stop it. Stop it, I say. In verse 3. Then Judas, which had betrayed him, when he saw that he was condemned, you see, he saw he was condemned, because now you know he wrong. You gonna steal my water, little girl? She done robbed me. Rob, get it back. And what did it say? He said, condemned, repented himself, and brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priest and elder, saying, I have sinned and that I have betrayed innocent blood. Because guess what? Go to the law. Exodus 23. Look at the law. He said he done betrayed innocent blood. Let's see what the law says. Exodus 23 and 7. See, this is what Judas was supposed to do. He's supposed to remember the law and kept it. This is what he's supposed to do. Look what it says. Keep thee far from a false matter, and the innocent and righteous slay thou not. Huh? And now he feeling bad because he about to slay the innocent and the righteous man. And guess what he said? I will not justify the wicked. And what happened to Judas? He died, didn't he? Judas didn't get justified. If he would have remembered the law, he wouldn't have broke it. He would have known I can't do this. Now he's saying he done sinned. He know the law done convicted him. You see how I say the law, the letter killeth. The letter done let him know he wrong. Go back. Matthew 27. Stinky booty little boy.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, it happens.
I feel it right back up.
Wowzers. So look. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Verse 4. He said, well, in verse 3, he said, he brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priest and elder. Look at verse 4, saying, I have sinned and that I betrayed innocent blood. And listen what they tell him. And they said, what is that to us? See thou to that.
Yeah, stop.
That sounds like some black people. He said, what that got to do with us? You need to go see about that. But don't they know they sin just as bad? That's what they said. They say, what is that to us? See, that's how you know that with black people. What that mean to us, nigga? That's your problem. No, I mean, niggas would be quick to say that, though. Only time I figure white people say something like that, that's when you're talking about the elite. Those got a little bit of change. That's your problem, buddy. You go handle that. You go deal with that. Only difference is niggas in the street will kill you if they feel like you're going to talk and get them in trouble. Let's thank it. Look what he say here in verse 5. And he cast down the pieces of silver in the temple and departed and went and hanged himself. Didn't he say he would drop that silver in the house of God? But look what did he say. The chief priest took the silver pieces and said, it's not lawful for to put them in the treasury because it's the price of blood. And they took counsel and brought with them the potter's field to bury strangers in. Wherefore that field was called the field of blood until this day. And then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, they that took 30 pieces of silver, the price of him that was valued, of whom the children of Israel did value, and gave them for the potter's field as the Lord appointed. I ain't looked into it, but I'm willing to wager that that's more than likely a mistranslation of where you have Jeremiah there instead of Zechariah. But nevertheless, because you see that Zechariah spoke of a potter's field. That's where you bury dead people who ain't got no money. You know what I'm talking about? But you see what they said? They said, we're going to kill this innocent man. But if God forbid we put this money in the treasury, we can't do that though. But we're going to kill this innocent righteous man who ain't did nothing. That's black people for you. Matthew 26 and 24. Make it 23. Make it 22. Stop! He said, he was very exceeding sorrowful, and began every one of them to say unto him, Lord, is it I? Or 21, actually. We've got to look at verse 20. Matter of fact, make it 19. Because he said that they took company together because it was a feast day. That's what we started off dealing with. Listen what he said. Now when the even was come, he sat down with the 12. Now why would he sit down? That's another, because you know, Pale know, it's niggas that argue that the day start when the sun come up. But you got these men sitting down at even time to eat the Passover. And that's the time that the law say you're supposed to eat it, does it not? Let's just see. Exodus 12. Let's just see if that's what the law says. All you just do is go to the law. Just see what the book says. Verse 6. And you shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month in the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel to kill it in the evening. And they shall take the blood and strike it on the two side posts on the upper door posts of the house wherein they shall eat it. And when was the Lord killed? What was it going on there? Because he got taken and they put him up on the cross in the morning. But the Lord caused it to go down at noontime for X amount of hours so he could be killed that evening just how the law prescribes. Don't make sense for them to sit down and eat a feast when the law prescribes you're supposed to eat it in the evening. But hey, when you want to be dumb, you want to be dumb. Verse 21. And as they did eat, he said, Truly I say unto you that one of you shall betray me. And they were exceeding sorrowful, and began every one of them to say unto him, Lord, is it I? And he answered and said, He that dip his hand with me in the dish, the same shall betray me. The Son of Man go as it is written of him. But woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man betrayed. It had been good for that man that he had not been born. This man say it's got to happen to me how it's written, but it sucks for the man who got to do it. Destruction unto him, because it was better for him not to be born. Let's finish this Acts 1 before we go to Psalm 109. So y'all, this man is going to be replaced. Verse 19. He said, and it was known unto all the dwellers at Jerusalem, insomuch as that field is called the proper tongue, Al-Qadama, that is to say, the field of blood. And he says, and for it is written in the book of Psalms, let his habitation be desolate, and let no man dwell therein, and his bishopric let another take. So now he said, let this man be destroyed, let no man dwell where he at, and let his spot get taken. So it was already written, because somebody just said, how could Judas not have a name in heaven? Remember how we read last night about the apostles had thrones? But you see, we reading right here in this song say, let his spot get taken. I think that's Psalm 69. Let's look at Psalm 69. My memory is telling me that it's Psalm 69. That's what he's bringing to mind. No, I think Psalm 69, because I can't remember where that's written at. Oh, give me 1 second. Well, Stanky, what you got going on today? You've been going hard all day. No. Just making sense for y'all? This makes sense for y'all so far? Hey, give me a second to find this, what his song that he quoted. All right, now, you fell off the couch yesterday. Calm down, Lil. I ain't never seen you like this, yeah. What's going on? That really helped us out, bro. Well, if you know what song it is, let me know so we can get this done. Let me spell that right. If not, we just move right along. It was right there. Let's look right at it. It was Psalm 69. I know that's what it was. Psalm 69. I was right the first time. So look what he said in Psalm 69 about verse 22. He said, let their table become a snare before them, and that which should have been for their welfare, let it become a trap. And he's saying, let their eyes be darkened, that they see not, and make their loins continually to shake. Pour out thy indignation upon them, and let wrath or anger take hold of them. Let their habitation be desolate, and let none dwell in their tents. For they persecute him whom thou hast smitten, and they talk to the grief of those whom thou hast wounded. So now you can see this here. They're talking about Judas right there, because he said, let that be their welfare, let it be a trap. Because what was going on? It said, let that table be a trap. What was going on when the Lord got killed? What were they doing? Was it not Passover? Were they not sitting down eating? Didn't he say, let his habitation be desolate, and let that be and let no everybody dwell in his tent? Speaking of Judas, but look what the prayer that David spoke concerning Judas in Psalms 109, and we'll stop at that. We are at the 40-minute mark. Look what he say. Psalms 109 and verse 1. Look what this man say. Because he said it was better for Judas not to be born, wasn't it? Because he said destruction come on him. Hold not thy peace, O God, of my praise. For the mouth of the wicked and the mouth of the deceitful are opened against me, and they have spoken against me with a lying tongue. Hold what you got. Look at Matthew. Let's see if these people lying on it. Matthew 26. Let's see if these people lying on it with a deceitful tongue. Because Judas the one had to betray him in the first place to get these people to come around here and lie on him. So when we look at Matthew 26 and verse 59. Matthew 26 and verse 59. Say, now the chief priests and elders and all the council sought false witness against Yahshua to put him to death, but found none. And yea, though many false witnesses came, yet found they none. And at the last came 2 false witnesses, and said, this fellow said, I'm able to destroy the temple of God and build it in 3 days. And the high priest arose and said unto him, answer thou nothing? What is it which these witness against thee? So now you sitting here sitting with people rising up, lying on him, man, with a deceitful tongue. Ain't they wicked? Don't you got to be wicked to tell lies? Verse 4. That they compassed me about also with words of hatred and fought against me without a cause. The Lord told you that in John 15. They hate me without a cause. For my love they are my adversaries. But I give myself unto prayer. And they have rewarded me evil for good and hatred for my love. Set thou a wicked man over him, and let Satan stand at his right hand. Who put it in Judas' heart to betray him? John, what did it say in John? It say Satan had in his heart. When he shall be judged, let him be condemned. Let his prayer become sin. Let his days be few, and let another take his office. Wow! So now we can see, let's look and see another taking his office. Go back to Acts 1. He said, let another take his place. Because the nigga just said earlier, ain't Judas got a name in heaven? He was standing there when he promised in them 12 thrones. But what he neglected to know is the scriptures say somebody was going to take this man's place for what he did. Acts 1 and 21. He said, wherefore of these men which have company with us all the time that the Lord Yahshua went in out among us, so that lets you know that those men were with him the whole time, wasn't it? Beginning from the baptism of John unto that same day that he was taken up from us, must one be ordained to be a witness with us of his resurrection. And they appointed 2, Joseph called Barsabbas, which was surnamed Justus, and Matthias. And they prayed and said, thou Lord, which know the hearts of all men, show whether these 2 thou hast chosen, that he may take part of the ministry in the apostleship, from which Judas by transgression fell, that he might go to his own place. And they gave forth their lots, and the lot fell upon Matthias, and he was numbered with the 11 apostles. So now we can see where that was fulfilled about another taking his office, can we not? See, the whole book testifying of the Lord. Ain't no way around it. That's why I couldn't believe dude asked that. He just knows he didn't know what he was talking about. But I think Buddy was an atheist anyway. Say, let his children be fathers and his wife a widow. And let his children be continually vagabonds and beg. Let them seek their bread also out of their desolate places. Let the extortioner catch all that he have, and let the stranger spoil his labor. And let there be none to extend mercy unto him, neither let there be any favor to his fatherless children. Let his posterity be cut off, and the generation following, let their name be blotted out. Listen what else this man prayed for. Let the iniquity of his fathers be remembered with Yah. Let not the sin of his mother be blotted out, and let them be before Yah continually, that he may cut off the memory of them from the earth. That sounds like really it was better for Judas not to be born one. That's rough in the paint right there. That's hard right there. That's hard right there. We're going to, but I think it's pretty much clear. I mean, we got a couple other things we can show you in this here, but we're not going to do that right now. We'll save it for another time. That was clear for y'all? Y'all understood that? That made sense for y'all? What about you, Jim Dandy?